Hey, what's up, entrepreneur? What's up, 9-to-5er who's transitioning into entrepreneurship? Did you know that 85% of businesses do not have a proper human resources structure set up? And what does that lead to? That leads to businesses getting sued, litigation, losing all the things that you have worked hard for. Our next guest is going to teach you how to set up a proper structure, a proper team so that your business is protected. Let's do it. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. to see him to change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprint, the wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, y'all, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet where we help you live in abundance spiritually, practically. We help you get from 5 to 6 to 7 figures in your business so you can live the life that you deserve. When I tell you that our next guest is really going to help you out no matter where you are in the business spectrum, whether you are a 9-to-5er with a side hustle looking to transition, whether you are a full-time entrepreneur, whether you've been an entrepreneur for years, the truth of the matter is that 85% of businesses have the wrong HR setup. And what happens in turn? What happens is you are opening yourself to liabilities, and all of the grind, the sleepless nights, everything that you've done to build this business up is in jeopardy because you don't have the right seats on the bus. So we have a special guest who is going to teach us everything we need to know to make sure that our structure is the right way. We have Miss Lakeisha Robichaux in the building. She is the CEO of Chief of Minds, a company that will help you get all of your HR affairs in order. She's much more than that, and we're going to tap into all of it. Miss Lakeisha, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ash. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate this because, my journey is, my banking. I was a banking executive, right, for 15 years, and so I understand the HR, like the importance of human resources and the importance of a team and making sure that the team is structured correctly. And in full transparency, when I transitioned from corporate America to become an entrepreneur, my thought process wasn't corporate because I was like, I'm leaving corporate, so I'm gonna run this like what I thought an entrepreneur is supposed to run the business. And so what I did was I was a hustler, right? I'm hustling. I don't have the, I'm trying to hustle to make money. I'm trying to hustle to make ends meet. And in hindsight, a lot of that hustle is coming back to bite me, right? Because as I grow, I'm growing so fast that now, there's structures that I need to put into place, and now I'm trying to play catch up. Now I'm losing out on opportunities because I don't have the right people, and so I appreciate this episode because I know that I'm not the only one. I know all of my 9-to-5ers, they're having the same issue, and so we're gonna jump into that. But before we start, for those who don't know, who is Lakeisha Robichaux?
So Lakeisha Robichaux is first and foremost a wife, a mother, a serial entrepreneur, CEO and founder of Chief of Minds, which is a outsourced human resources company, CEO and founder of Chief of Minds Staffing, and CEO and founder of Chief of Minds Insurance. And also Biz Chief's mastermind, author, speaker, all around, businesswoman.
And so take me on this journey. Like, what qualifies you to help businesses get their HR business, together?
Oh, absolutely. So before I actually launched Chief of Minds, I was in human resources. I was in business management, HR for Dollar General, CVS Pharmacy. My background is actually business management and human resources. And so before I actually started Chief of Minds, I was the executive director of one of these school districts where I live in Louisiana. And when the superintendent came and recruited me to build their human resources department, he had already told me, he said, listen, we're working ourselves out of a job here. Because what we did with the school district, we took over failing schools and brought in special charter schools to run and improve academics performance. So when we got there, the charter schools that we recruited actually asked me to come and work for them. They was like, hey, listen, I want you to come either run the charter school, I want you to run HR, we need to have you. And I had dipped in entrepreneurship prior to then, and I started getting that itch back, and I told them, I saw the demand and the need. And so I said, instead of hiring me, I'll consult with you. You can hire me and I'll, run your HR. You can do it through my company. And I was like, hey, either way, it doesn't matter. As long as we can have you, servicing us, that works. And so from there, Chief of Minds was born to really helping companies build human resources. And we really started off with charter schools, honestly, building out their HR, serving as their HR, their payroll. And it really just grew from there, because every time we did something, all right, can you put my employee handbook together? Can you do our payroll? Can you do our training? So, and it just grew and flourished from there.
And that's smart though, right? Because you as Beyonce would say, pay me in equity, right? And so instead of, taking a job, right, you were able to negotiate a contract, paid the same thing, but the structure is what matters, because when you work a job, they're buying your time.
Absolutely.
Right? And when you have your own business, who cares about the time? Just do what you say you were going to do. And so I know it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the HR, but I don't want our insiders to miss that as you're thinking about entrepreneurship, make sure, that you're structuring it the right way, because the right structure allows you to scale, allows you to build that business. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. And so break down for us, how does human resource support, how can that increase a business's revenues and profits?
So the way that you can really increase it from an HR standpoint is really reducing liability, making sure that you have compliance. So for one thing, and this is not just honestly your entrepreneurs, small business owners, even with hundreds of employees, oftentimes they don't have the structures and processes in place. So like onboarding. When you hire your first employee, one, you need an employee handbook. If you don't, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for litigation, because there's policies that you need to have in place so that way you can easily grow and scale. That first employee is hired, have them sign an employee handbook, have electronically the onboarding paperwork that they need. So that way, hey, you don't have to stop, you don't have to look, you have this process in place that they need to go through, the training and development, the orientation that they need. So that way you can continue as a CEO, the founder, the executive president, so that way you can have what you need in place to focus on the vision and not be deep inside trying to get them what they need to do.
Got it. And that's important because, again, all of us who've had jobs before understand that the reason why, when you have the employee handbook, you sign them, you do the trainings, like they want proof that they told you everything that you needed to know, so that if there's a reason to sort of let somebody go, they have a leg to stand on. And again, it's funny because I never really think about that from an entrepreneurship perspective, right? You hire an employee. Once you hire an employee, now there's labor laws that you have to follow. And so what is EEOC, and how can that potentially shut down your business?
So EEOC is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And so really, that can shut down your business if you get a discrimination, an age case. So like right now, my company, we actually, one of our clients have a complaint. And so we're looking at, okay, well, if this employee, well, they discriminated against the race, was something said, was something on an age basis, was there any type of age discrimination that took place? Did you terminate an employee and then hire another employee that may have been younger? Did you say something that may have been racially ignited to them. And so what they do is they file the complaint with the EEOC. The EEOC sends out something to the company. If the EEOC finds out that there was something that actually was said that was discriminatory or age, or if there's a lot more, then it can actually shut down a business, because if you have to pay those funds when you have to go to litigation, then, you can, all the revenue profits that you made can actually go to that particular employee. So it can be threatening, life-threatening to a company.
Wow. And so is that like, does EEOC only apply if you're hiring an employee, or like, what if I have 1099 contract employees? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's different. This is for your employees. Now, your 1099s, they can come back and they can sue you because they're a contractor to your company, but they're not an employee to the company. So you still can get sued if there was any type of situation where you were discriminatory to the contractor or anything like that. But this is for equal employment, which are employees versus the contractors.
Got you. And then so, I read the book From Good to Great by Jen Collins, and Jen Collins talks about making sure you have the right seats on the bus, right? And I know, again, from my corporate days, having employees and things of that nature, even if they were good in character, if they weren't the right people on the bus, it could stop my, my business or the, whatever my division I was managing at the time from flourishing. You believe that having the right team could 10x your business. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So having the right team in place can really grow your business when you have, and actually it's really a vetting process, because, back in the day when we looked at employees and developing employees and wanted the right employees, you wanted someone that had the skill set. But now it's not all just about skill set. Skill set is just the 50% of art. Do they have the culture? Do they fit with the culture? Because you can have someone that comes in and they're toxic. They can destroy the entire company morale that you put in place, that you grew your company from, by one particular person. So when you're interviewing, you're vetting, having the entire team there, for the interview. Let them sit in, let them give feedback, give them questions, let them have a rubric, where you're actually vetting the potential candidates, so that way that look, they're a good team, they're a good fit. Also, depending on, the type of company that you have, are you doing social media screening? Because oftentimes, of course, people are selling themselves when they come in for an interview. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. So then you go back and you look at social media. So are they walking the walk and talking the talk on social media on a daily basis? Because you may get someone that really is not genuine to the character in which you're looking for to employ inside of your company. So really vetting them that and knowing that, okay, hey, they can 10x my business with what they bring to the table. Do they have the qualifications? And it's also a skill of will. If they don't have the qualifications, are they willing to learn? Are they willing to go above and beyond? Because you can really, if you have someone that's hungry, someone that really is motivated, hey, I can teach you what you need to learn, as long as you're willing to listen, to learn, and keep moving with it. So it's really important to have a team in place to really grow, and then having the right roles. And that's why I tell a lot of people in my Biz Mastermind, you really need to look at the org chart, or you put an org chart in place, because don't put just names there, put the titles in which you have the vision for your company. How do you want your company to grow? So let's look, do we have an HR department? Do we have operations? Do we have finance? Put the positions there and then hire for those particular positions so you know where you're going. And it's a fluid thing with the org chart, but so that way you have the vision and what you're trying to achieve.
And at what point, what's your suggestion, right? At what point do you go from contract, independent contractors to employees, right? Because, again, I know that, and you can hustle your way to six figures as an entrepreneur. But when it's time to get to that next level, that 7 to 8 figures, you really need to have a team together. You really have to have structure, org chart, things of that nature. And so, what's your advice to the entrepreneur who is like growing and scaling? When do you make that pivot? When do you make that transition from independent contractor to, employee? So
when the business is growing, and the demand that you have, because when you're an entrepreneur, like you said, you can hustle and, you can learn. Entrepreneurs, we can learn to do just about anything, but that doesn't mean that you need to be doing everything and anything. So when you realize and you determine that you have a special skill set that you need, or you can't do it all, depending on how you want them, because there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a contractor. So with the contractor, of course, you can't say, okay, well, I need you, this is your schedule, this is what I need you on, because a contractor, they can employ and contract with several companies. By law, by the IRS terms, they're supposed to. They're supposed to invoice you. They're supposed to use their own equipment, whereas an employee, hey, if they qualify for the exempt status, you tell them, hey, this is a 9 to 5, but there may be overtime, that's considered. I may, contact you when I need you to do this or that. And so they have the skill set that that you need. You're growing and you have specialized positions for them. So you know that you need a team when you say, hey, I need someone for maybe HR. I need someone for accounting. I need someone to serve as my executive assistant. I need someone to monitor the facilities and the management and operations as we go. When you identify that, you really want oftentimes employees for those type of positions because you need them to advise you, and you need them when you need to pick up the phone or have them there. Whereas sometimes contractor, they have different things that's going on. They can't always be there to answer those questions for you.
If you are an entrepreneur, business coach, or small business owner who wants to get more visibility for your product or service, then consider advertising on Inside the Vault. We have been seen and heard over 2 million times, and as the show continues to grow, your ad would be embedded in our episodes forever. So the return on investments on advertising with us is unmeasurable and invaluable. If you're interested in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then text podcast to 646-687-4152 or email us at info@insidethevaultshow.com. Allow your business to get the visibility that it deserves. Yeah, and I love that. And I think that even, in some of my businesses, what I've done is I have dedicated employees who also manage the subcontractors, right? Because, sometimes, somebody might be watching right now and they may be saying, well, I have all these subcontracts, so I'm good, but who's going to manage those processes, right? And so you want to, maybe having all 1099 employees might not necessarily be the right way to go because when things fall to the crack, like through the crack, who are you holding responsible, right? Right. And then if you can't hold anybody responsible, this is your business, this is your livelihood, this is the thing that's helping you, sustain. And so and thinking about that, right? You're a serial entrepreneur, and there are many people who have multiple businesses, right? How do you, from a structure perspective, how do you structure those businesses so that everything is running smoothly? Do you, as the CEO of each of the businesses, do you hire somebody who give me
yes.
that. And I'll be honest, I'm getting free advice right now. So come on,
absolutely love it. So yes, you have to have it because one, just going back to what you said, you can't manage everybody and everything, and there has to be accountability. Yeah. That's where accountability comes in. So having maybe a director of operations, that's going to hold everyone accountable in what they're supposed to do. So give you, for instance, with my HR company, I have a human resources director. The HR director manages, the HR. She manages the HR generalist that we have. Operations handles operations. We had recruiters. So recruiter handles that. So you have individuals inside of those businesses that own their particular positions, but that's managing a chief of staff as well. So I've had a chief of staff, and the chief of staff really manages all three businesses. So whatever's going on, everyone knows, okay, I go to the chief of staff unless they go to the direct supervisor. But you have to have someone that's in charge, so that way they can handle and hold everyone accountable. And I want to say accountability because a lot of people think of that as a bad word when you say accountability. Right, yeah. But it's not so much a bad word, but you have to have accountability. You have to make sure that things are being done, that you're getting results that you need at the end of the day, period.
Yeah. And I love that because, again, we use the word scale a lot. And scale is really, you proved the concept, you worked hard, you hustled, you did everything that you needed to do. And then now it's time to take your business to the next level. And without the proper structure, without the proper people, you can't take it to that next level. And so for that person that's in this position where they're like, all right, I need to find, an employee, and the truth of the matter is that a lot of entrepreneurs, some of them have never worked before. Yeah. Some of them have never hired anybody before. What are some tips that you can, give entrepreneurs as to what to look for when they're making their first hire?
Absolutely. So, and it really depends on the position, when you're first hiring, who you want to, what role are you hiring for? So, if you're hiring for, and I say with entrepreneurs, when you're hiring first employee, people always ask, what's the first position you should hire for? It really depends on the need that you have. Oftentimes, I won't lie, it's usually like an executive assistant because you need someone that's going to manage your schedule. Yeah. You need someone that's going to have the customer service, make phone calls, things like that. So if it may be the executive assistant, you want someone that's going to be detail oriented, someone that's great with communication skills. And you can do that, of course, by interviewing them. Referrals are always great. If you know people that know people, I always say ask for referrals first. If it's for another position, and I'll tell you, this is something I learned in my business, to be quite honest with you. So at first, my first position was like an executive assistant coordinator type position, but I needed someone high level. I had to learn that way that, I was going the route, okay, I want to keep the revenue in, let me keep this money. So, I hired, okay, let me get it, operations, executive type person. But I needed someone, as my business was growing, that could go in those rooms and talk on my behalf, that I had to be in every room. Yeah. So what I ended up doing, that next one was really a well-rounded chief of staff, that can speak, that knew human resources, that was articulate, that can do what I needed to do. So I honestly, my advice is really that it depends on the position that you need, but those high-level positions can take you so fast, to where you need to go, because they can represent you and you don't have to spend a lot of time doing the training development. Yeah. I want to go real quick back on, how you were talking about the growing and scaling. This applies to your question, about what do you do? So with growing and scaling also, a lot of people don't realize, when you're in that growth phase, that's when you're investing a lot of money inside of your business. You're hiring employees, you're buying equipment, you may be moving to a new building, purchasing buildings and things like that. So there's a lot of, and that's when you're doing your streamline and your processes and things like that. When you are scaling, that's when you've done all that. You've made that investment so you can scale. A lot of technology companies are able to scale really fast because sometimes they don't need people. They have a lot of systems in place. So they can do that much faster. On the scaling phase, all of that has been done so you can scale much faster. You can take on additional business and you're not having to put a lot of money inside of expenses. So you're starting to see your profits more. Growth, you have revenue going up and profit going up. But with that scaling, you see a lot of profit. But with entrepreneurs, oftentimes, we don't take the time to really go through that growth phase. Whoa. We want to be in that scale phase fast. We haven't invested that time in the growth phase yet.
Wait, hold on. Wait. So insiders, I need y'all to, because she's from Louisiana, so she's talking fast. Listen. Say that one more time because as you were saying it, I was like, she's right. And I don't know, blame it on social media, blame it on terminology. Every time I hear people talk, entrepreneurs, even myself, and when I'm in rooms, I'm hearing growth. Not growth. I'm hearing scale. We want to scale. We want to scale this. We want to scale that. We want to scale that. And when I think about scaling, I'm putting both of them together, actually, right? I'm putting growth and scaling together because I'm saying I want to grow fast. But I know that in order to do that, I need to hire, I need to put people in position, I need to only do the things that I have to do, get the executive assistant and things of that nature. But this growth, we don't talk about growth enough, right? And if I hear you correctly, it's almost like take a step backwards, right? Take a step back, really build a foundation.
That's right.
Right? Don't build the roof first and then put the walls up. You can't do that, right? You gotta start with the foundation. Can you, explain that growth phase again? Because I don't want nobody to miss it. I need them to understand why is it important if you want to scale?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with growth and scaling, that growth phase is really when you are really investing inside the business. The foundation, like you said, you're hiring, you're looking at your org chart and you're saying, okay, these are the positions that I need. This is the type of equipment that I need. This is the type of apps and software that I need. You're building those out. Yeah. It may be another building because, okay, I need more building because I'm hiring more people. I need this warehouse space because I'm bringing this product in. So you're actually investing. A lot of money is going out in that growth phase. You're getting clients. You're starting to see that growth. You're seeing the uptick inside of the business. Yeah. So that the revenue is going up and the profit is going up, but you don't see that percentage. That profit margin is not as high because you're having to go back and spend a lot of money on your operating costs and your expenses. Yeah. Now, once you get to that scale phase, okay, you've done this. You've streamlined. You've done all of the investments you need. So now you can reap the benefits. You're in profit mode during that scale phase because all of the systems are built out. Yeah. You have the employees. They've been trained. They've been developed. Everybody knows their role. So that profit margin is looking very, very good during that scale phase. It's only up from here. Yeah. And with technology companies, you see them, they can scale a lot faster because they're system and technology driven. Yeah. They don't have to employ a lot of people because they have the processes, they have the apps in place, you know, or they're outsourcing some of those things that they really don't need in-house. Yeah. So they can scale much faster. But oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we want to just go straight to scale. Okay, I need to see these profits. Yeah. But then when you start bringing in all that business, it's like, oh, wow, I don't have systems in place. I don't have processes in place. So, and then what can happen, it can go down. Right. Because your clients have a bad experience. Right. The customer journey is not good because you have not outlined, you haven't mapped that out to see exactly what it should be and put the time into that to make it great.
Wow. So you literally just blessed my whole life. Seriously, because as I, again, hustle mode. A lot of entrepreneurs are in hustle mode to prove the concept, right? To prove, hey, I have a business. People want what I have to offer. And for me, because I started to see that, I was in that phase where I'm like, all right, now it's time to get to the next level, right? And then as you're starting to get to that next level, you're realizing that it's taking too much of your time. So now you're trying to, build the systems and things of that nature. And to be 100% honest, you start realizing that you're spending a lot or you're investing a lot of money, right? We're not going to use the word spend, right? We're investing a lot of money. Even for me, we've invested a lot of money this year, a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? In masterminds, self-development, systems, people, things of that nature, and it almost feels like, man, I'm just starting to make a lot of money. Why I can't enjoy the lot of money right now, right? But it's almost like having to have delayed gratification. That's right. Right? Nah, don't be so fast to try to enjoy the fruits of your labor now because you're making a lot of money now, but if you don't have the right systems in place, you're building your business on quicksand.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
You're building your business on quicksand. And so that lot of money is not even sustainable.
Right.
Right. And so now you might hit a lick this year, but then next year you can't sustain it. Talk about that a little bit, right? Because you talked about customer journey. And I don't think people understand how vital it is, to make sure that the customer journey is smooth and seamless and have that good reputation with your company to make sure that you're there for a long time.
Absolutely. And that's how sometimes, unfortunately, it can make or break a business or make or break your reputation, your brand, and what it stands for. Because if your customer journey is not good, so when you bring on a new client, what does that experience look like for them? You onboard them. Are they going to talk to one person? Do they need to complete certain type of forms or product information for you? The next step, how do you onboard them? How do you start delivering the services to them? If there's not an A to Z process in place, if you're not giving them an overview, if they're not speaking to someone during that, automatically they've already shut down. Okay, I really don't understand what this is about. Did I invest the right way? And so remember that when one person says something, they go and they tell other people, about the services they have. And so that brand builds on. If you have a great customer journey, then that Yes, excellent. You have an onboarding processes for them. You have an account manager that they speak to. You have someone that follows up with them. If there's any type of issues, complaints, concerns, what have you, they know who they should contact. And you should go back and you should be getting feedback from them. Okay, how can we assist? And these are opportunities that I like to talk where you can go back and honestly possibly upsell, give them other services. One of the things with my customer journey, when we get new clients, after 30 days, 30, 60, 90 days, I have touch points with them. I'm meeting with the CEO and I'm asking you, okay, so how's everything been going? I want to know how our experience, give it to me, tell me, be transparent with me. Oh, it's going great, or I had a question about this. That's great. I'm going to keep those touch points with the CEO because I want to make sure it's good. Every now and then I'm going to ask them, let's go to lunch together. Let's go have coffee or let's get on a Zoom together. Of course, if we're not. But that customer journey, they oftentimes they want you to feel like they're your only customer. So, and not only am I doing that, but then I also will have one of my employees do that as well. Make sure you touch base with them, just see how it's going. And you have customers for life when you have a good customer journey like that.
Right.
They can have people go and pitch your competitors, that try to go and pitch them, but they know if they have a good relationship, a good partnership, at the end of the day, they're sticking with you.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I want everybody to pay attention that, we talk about living in abundance and abundance is your birthright. A lot of times when you are speeding, trying to build your business fast enough, a lot of it is based on lack mentality, right? Because you're having this money come in and this is your first time seeing, fast money, whatever it is, 5 figure, 6 figure, 7 figure, whatever it is, you're seeing that come in so fast. And now you're like, oh my God, you're thinking in lack. I don't want to lose it. Right. And so you're not willing to invest in the business. And so, you're really, just trying to hoard everything and thinking it's going to go away. But in fact, if you make the proper investment, you go and, become, you go beyond being a CEO, right?
That's right.
Speaking of which, right? Talk to us about your book.
Absolutely. So Growing Beyond the CEO. I wrote Growing Beyond the CEO because so many, especially entrepreneurs and small business owners, often had questions about, okay, just how do I build a team? Yeah. How do I get beyond just my vision and where I'm trying to go with my business? So Growing Beyond the CEO is all about team. It's about building your team. It's about the onboarding process, laying out what should an onboarding process look like? How do I even take, and these are some of the hard conversations that, we don't want to have oftentimes, but, how do I terminate an employee when that happens? What does corrective action look like? And so there's guidance on, when that should be done. And I always want to say, regardless if you have one employee, document. We talk about that in Growing Beyond the CEO. Even, with training about the type of leader you should be, because there are different times where you should be different type of leaders. And in my book, I talk about, during Hurricane Katrina, as you said, I'm from Louisiana. So at the time, Hurricane Katrina, I was living in New Orleans. And as everybody knows, during Katrina, it was a lot going on. We had to have the structure. We had to have, someone that would get things in place. And so when it was General Honore, when he came down, he was a different type of leader. He was a very direct in what he did it, but he was very sincere at the same time. He understood the people's needs. And so at different times in leadership, you have to have that. There's a time where you may have to have that authoritative role. There's a time where you may have to have the coaching role. And so learning what those different type of leadership, and you may need to be that different times with your employees. I talk about that in the book as well. Even the recruiting, the vetting process, like I said, that will and that skill. Growing Beyond the CEO is all about building a team and the processes that you need from A to Z, especially if you don't have the background in HR, on how to get there, maps it out for you in Growing Beyond the CEO.
No, I love that. And then what type of, personal development does someone need to be a leader, right? Because even as you build out, right, you get the right team, but if you can't lead the team the right way, you could potentially lose the team. You could potentially, not grow your business because you're not a good leader. And again, a lot of our insiders, have probably they worked in a corporate job, probably a individual contributor, maybe never really managed a team. So what type of training or personal development does one need to develop their leadership skills?
So definitely as far as personal development, mindset is one for sure, because there's so many things as a CEO, it can be lonely. When you have employees, you have team members, where you want to bounce ideas off, employees may come to you, you want to get a second thought, a second opinion on things or how you should handle it. Because especially coming from corporate, when you think about the bottom line, everything matters, entrepreneur, small business owner. So what should that look like? So a business coach definitely is one that I highly recommend. And then getting training and development, going to different leadership, conferences is one. There's a lot of business management and human resources management conferences, associations that you can join, and they have leadership development in your particular field. But business coach, I would say, having the personal development about mindset, different masterminds where you can talk with people, that are doing the same thing that you are, bounce ideas, share those experiences, and they can give you some insight, because they may have been in those particular situations, and be able to share those thoughts with you.
No, I love it. And so, talk to us, about your 5-day experience. You created a 5-day experience, for, entrepreneurs, for small businesses, for, the 9-to-5er who's transitioning into, being an employee. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So with this 5-day experience, it tells you or gets you prepared for everything that you need to know as far as being a business owner, and what your HR process should look like. So from the onboarding of employees, what type of paperwork do you need? What should the experience look like? Because keep in mind that a lot of turnover, when you look at turnover rates, it's during that first 90 days. Because if it's you are actually looking at them, you're observing them and evaluating them, but they're doing the same thing with you. If their experience is if it's all over the place, they don't have no paperwork that they need, if they don't have any insight on what's next, no training or what have you, they're starting to look other places.
Right.
So the onboarding process, employee handbook, we're talking about the policies that you need. Some of those really mandatory policies. Now, some of this, it depends on where you live at, but we're talking about that. We're talking about hiring. What should hiring look like? What are the interview questions that you can ask? The interview questions that you can't ask, because there's some interview questions that you should not ask that are illegal interview questions.
Wow.
So that, also corrective action, if you need to take that, what should it look like? And then overall, being a leader in a business, what steps do you need to take when it comes to coaching? Because you have to coach employees for success at the end of the day. So we're going all of that to really get you compliant. So that way you reduce liability inside of your business. You have the forms that you need. You know what to say if an employee says that they, had a grievance that they want to file. If they felt like they're working in a hostile work environment, what should you say? What do you tell an employee if an employee comes and say, hey, I was being harassed by a vendor or something? Because you still have to protect your employees. It is your duty as a business owner, if they come and complain to you, that you do something about it, because you're just equally responsible if you don't.
Yeah, no, I love that. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, right? So most entrepreneurs, probably were independent contributors. They probably never had a staff, and they didn't, they never really had any, personal development in how to become a leader. And so, what's the best way for an entrepreneur who's transitioning or who needs to develop their leadership skills to learn how to be a better leader?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's industries that you can actually check out where you can join associations and things like that. They have leadership development training, conferences, things like that, workshops that you can go through. I also would just, of course, my mastermind. So also being a business coach, I have the Biz Chiefs Mastermind. You can go to www.LakeishaRobichaux.com. And we talk all about leadership development inside the mastermind. What it takes to be a leader, how to grow a team as a leader, how to grow personally as a leader. We discuss all of that with other entrepreneurs and business owners that are leading their companies, 6- and 7-figure companies.
Yeah, and I love that because, I've learned that the power of the mastermind, right? Like Napoleon Hill talked about it in Think and Grow Rich,
That's right.
decades ago. But me personally, I've watched my business get to the next level by just being in the room with other people who are going through the same thing and getting the right leadership, from those who are where I want to be. So I appreciate that.
Exactly. So yeah, that's one of the another option you can check out with leadership, because we have 4 buckets actually, and leadership development is inside the human resources bucket. So I highly recommend it.
And, I think it's important that everybody just really think about, joining the 5-day challenge and really just learning about the process, because I know for us, when I was in corporate and had a position I was hiring, we went through a very lengthy process. And the reason for that was because there's actually a cost of actually losing, right? So all of the costs that, you train the person, you get the person ready, you develop the person. If the environment's not right and that person leaves, the time that it's going to take to transition, to find a new person. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like the importance of, we already talked about why you want to have a team, because it can help you, during that growth stage, and it's going to help you scale. But talk also about the pitfalls of like hiring the wrong people and the cost. Like you're an entrepreneur. Sometimes, you got to strike when the iron's hot. And if you lose an employee because you didn't follow the right procedures, that could
Absolutely. Yeah. It could definitely turn your company around. If you, when you talk about the pitfalls, one, if an employee decides that they don't want to work for you and they leave, they terminate. One, you've invested a lot of time. Yeah. A lot of people, you look at the tangible, also look at the intangible, because you have to go back and train that person again. That is money to actually have to go back and do that. Yeah. You've invested your time, your resources into doing that. If you actually have to terminate them, then you also have to look at the litigation costs. Hopefully you have an attorney, and then get an employment attorney. And all attorneys, of course, and they know, are not equal, get an employment attorney, but you have to go, in court, or if you're going to settle out of court, those are still expenses that you have to take. So you want to vet employees before you actually hire them. You'll hear people often say, fire fast, hire slow, But I having that HR background, I don't always say fire fast. I get it. You want to get, if they're toxic, you want to get them out of your company. Do it as fast as you can do it, but make sure you have the processes documented. Make sure you have all of your paperwork. But when you're hiring, the reason why they say slow is because you want to get the right fit. You want to get the person that is going to add value to your company. You want to get someone that's going to believe in your vision, someone that is dedicated, someone that wants to work. They really see it. And you should be honest, you should asking them questions, questions that actually tell them, that be able to tell you exactly how they would handle certain situations. So a lot of times when we're interviewing, our questions are made around things that happen inside the business. And so we make them up based on situations that we had. How would you handle this particular situation? Because I want to know how you're going to think. Are you able to quick think? Are you able to quick think on your feet? What does your judgment skills look like? What do your decision-making skills look like? So we use real-life questions inside to know, okay, whether or not we have a good fit. But yeah, investing in upfront in the employee process to know that you reap the gains at the end will help you reduce that liability inside of your company.
Yeah, and I love that. And then that's why, going back to having an employee handbook and having, SOPs and things of that nature are important, because even if you have to transition into someone new, at least you have sort of like the documentation, and you have, the guide and the things that are going to help, the new employee kind of get to the next level. And so like, where do you suggest entrepreneurs find employees? Like, all right, cool. Do I post something on IG and be like, yo, look, I'm hiring? Do I go to Indeed? Do I like where do I find, qualified people?
So I always say social media. Use your social media. That's free advertisement, free marketing for social media. So put it on your company. If you have a company account, personal account, normally the personal account will meet you much better. You'll get more exposure. So social media is one. You can even do job fairs, career fairs on social media. You go live, talk about the position, talk about what you're hiring for. Indeed is another place that you actually can go for sure. Also look at the association. So like if you're looking for a marketing person in your area, or even the National Marketing Association, look and see if you can post jobs there, post the positions that you have open. So also look at it then by industry and post positions, on there. If you want to just hire local, go to some of your local universities and colleges. You can find some good, new hires as far as like new graduates or even interns. Create an internship program, so that way they can get some real life experience, with doing it. But you want to constantly build your database as well as an employer. When you're getting these resumes, even if if they don't have the experience right now, put them in a folder so that way you can go back and look at them later. But really the marketing piece is really behind putting it out there and what you're hiring for and who you're hiring for.
No, I love it. And so what would you say is like the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when hiring?
The biggest mistake that they make is they're looking for somebody that's just like them.
Oh, that's the one.
They want someone that's just like
That's
them.
the one.
Yes.
That's the
yes.
one.
When at the end of the day, you need someone that's going to compliment you. You don't need anyone that's just like you. You need someone that can actually pick up where your opportunities, aka weaknesses, are.
Yeah.
So not someone you have you already. Why get someone that's, that has the same strengths? You get someone that can compliment you, that can grow that other side. If you're the visionary, get someone that's going to get real inside the details for you. They can get you from point A, point Z, where you don't have to be grounded in there. And then the other pieces entrepreneurs make is they always hire. They want to start because they want to save money on taxes, and they want to hire a contractor. Contractor's not always the best, hire, especially if you're treating them like an employee. If you're going to hire an employee, put them on payroll, pay taxes. It's going to save you money in the beginning. Also, pay yourself as an entrepreneur. Actually take out the taxes and everything. So that way you can claim all of this, the cost savings things in that. But those are some areas where we see entrepreneurs make mistakes.
Sheesh, look, a lot of game. And I'm going to tell you, I did the same thing. And that's why that one hit me because, early on, my first hire, if you will, was somebody just like me. Cause I was like, I want to make sure we're connected and, we have the same vision and things of that nature. And it didn't work because we were like bumping heads.
Right.
And then a lot of my weaknesses were things like operations and things of that nature. And it wasn't until, fast out to my wife, because my wife was actually in HR, and that's the thing. Because we were so opposite, I was like, I could never work with you. But then as I started realizing, she the one I need.
That's right.
Because, as I'm trying to go fast, she's the one that if I have, because I'm a visionary. So I have these big ideas, and she's like, how, Sway? Listen,
right.
Slow down.
Yes.
This is what you need to do. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I love that. All right, cool. So make sure, listen, she got the 5-day challenge. Make sure you go insideyourhr.com to join, to really just spend 5 days and, really learn about how to properly structure your business. If abundance is your birthright. So that your business will get to the next level. Don't wait till you actually get there to try to, build the foundation, learn, how to build the foundation right now. And so I want to switch gears a little bit, right? As a wife, as a mother, as a serial entrepreneur, how do you balance it all?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, with balancing it all. At the end of the day, wife and motherhood comes first and foremost through it all.
Yeah.
But you have to be very, have a schedule, day in, day out. I really live by my calendar, on my calendar, what goes on, what's happening, with my kids' events, with things that my husband has going on, that is on a calendar that comes first. And I make sure that I schedule everything so that way when it's time for a meeting or whatever I actually have it on the calendar. So I really live by the calendar, balancing it all. And I really try to, get away, especially on the weekends. On the weekends, it's usually family time. We have to do, church is Sunday. So I make sure to get that in. We do a lot of traveling and family events. I love hosting things at my house. So, that's how I really balance it out. But they know, at the end of the day, also with the work, I get that done. So balancing it by making sure that, I get both in.
Yeah. And honestly, this kind of goes back to having the right team and delegation and things of that nature, because, balance can also come in the form of, having that strong number two, that person that can manage things. So as you're,
That's so right.
Yeah.
I am at the end of the day, I have a phenomenal team, phenomenal team. Right now, they're with human resource, they're at the office getting everything done that needs to get done. And when you have dedicated employees that really see the vision, they really understand, they have the will, they have the skill, that's so important. And it really goes back to vetting and knowing, taking the time to get to know the employees so that way you can grow. You can really focus on growing the business, doing what like I'm doing right now, and that way they can keep the operation still running. Yeah. But you got to have that sound team in place, and that allows you to do that.
Yeah, no, I love it. Take me back, right? So like right now, Lakeisha is, again, mom, husband, not husband. So take me back, like right now, Lakeisha's a wife, a mom, a serial entrepreneur. But if she can go back and talk to her 18-year-old self, what advice are you giving young Lakeisha?
I would give young Lakeisha advice to invest. One, young Lakeisha was ready to go, to college and start a career, which I wouldn't change that because I learned a lot, but definitely investing more because I've been doing a lot more investing and things like that and having the wealth abundance, that you talk about. So a lot more investing. But also young Lakeisha with starting the entrepreneurship journey, being more serious about it early. Because when I was younger, my first business that I had, I was straight out of college. I was selling out my dorm room. I was selling clothes and shoes. Yeah. So I've always had that, but to take it more serious and put more oomph about it, and then also being Lakeisha more. Because when I went to college, it was a lot of how you presented yourself and how you talked in those boardrooms and things like that. Yeah. And I made sure I talked about it. But at this point now, if I was 18, I would have done, Lakeisha a lot more than I'm doing right now.
I love that. I love that. Finish this statement for me. I am
excellent.
Love that. When it's all said and done, I will be.
When it's all said and done, I will be. All said and done, I will be a legend in my own right.
Love that. I want everyone who crosses my path to know.
To know that I gave back, I educated, and there's nothing that you cannot do if you put the action and the energy behind it.
I love it. I love it. And so, as somebody who, has success, what would you say is the most extravagant thing you've done with money so far?
Extravagant thing I've done with money. That's a good question. Probably most extravagant was spent at this point now is investing a lot in stocks and options and everything like that, putting a lot of money. Because I try to stay away from, honestly, a lot of the quote unquote luxury. I do it time and time, but now I'm putting a lot more money, extravagant money inside of options and stocks and things like that and investing.
Yep. No, I love it. I love it. What has been the most impactful thing you've done with money so far?
Impactful thing was giving back, tithing, giving to different charities, and not wanting to even be. Sometimes I give and I don't want anyone to know, just want to bless somebody, be a blessing to someone. But definitely tithing. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I love that because I think that's the best way to give, yes. A lot of times the anonymous giving is, it's just, I love it. I love it. All right, cool. So right now somebody's watching, they have the 9-to-5, they're looking to transition into full-time entrepreneurship. They don't know where to start, where to go. They got the jitters. What advice are you giving to that person?
I would say, you don't have to always wait for a perfect time. There's not a perfect time, Get with someone, whether it's a business coach. I definitely would say check out my website on my Business Chiefs Mastermind for something like that. But there's no perfect time to start. Just get up and start, but don't stop. Don't stop. And just make sure at the end of the day that you have you a plan and just work the plan. Do the work and be consistent with it.
All right, cool. So we're going to do a lightning round. And what we do in a lightning round is we take bank terms because we're literally inside the vault. We take bank terms and then we flip them for our show. The first term we're going to use is deposit slip. And a deposit slip, obviously you take the form, you fill it out, you put money into the bank. But for us, deposit slip is a slip up, a mistake, right? A money mistake. And so what is the biggest deposit slip or money mistake that you've made so far in your journey?
So biggest deposit money mistake I made was really with a business that I had before the business that I had now. I had a staffing and agency company, and I spent a lot of money like on Chamber of Commerce. I joined all these associations, networks, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I sat back, I had the if I build it, they will come mentality.
That's
So
good. Yeah.
I didn't market. I was like, look, I'm in this Chamber of Commerce. You see my name on the directory. Call me up. And, I got clients, but I didn't get out and I wasn't a wolf. I wasn't hunting, to try to go get the business. So when the economy went back in 2009, business dried up. And I only had those clients because that's what I relied on. And so that was the biggest mistake that I made. I didn't put enough effort inside of the marketing behind it and me going out to get it. I was focused on, hey, I got this office. I was sitting in the office, waiting for the phone to ring versus me going out and get it. And so that was a waste of money. And I told myself, the next time I do it, I'm going to go get it, which I did. And, Chief Miles.
I love it. I love it. All right. Second term is charge off, right? So charge off. You borrow money from the bank is trying to get the money back. And, eventually they're like, all right, you know what? I ain't gonna get this money, so I'm gonna charge this off. But for us here inside the vault, a charge off is what type of people or mindset did you have to charge off while you were on your journey?
People that had limited mindset, that the negativity.
Yeah.
They didn't like to speak things into existence. They felt like there was no opportunity to grow. Yeah. And so I really had to charge that off, and they wasn't trying to get out the environment that they were in. They did not feel like, that they can obtain much. And so I felt like, if you're negative, if you're speaking negative, I don't want to be around you. I can't be around because I don't want the negative energy around me. If you feel like, blessings are only for certain people, God blesses everybody.
Yeah.
So I can't have you surrounded me with those limited beliefs thinking that God's not going to bless you. I can't have that.
Yeah.
So people with the negative energy, the negative thoughts, I just didn't want to grow in general. You were still doing the same thing that you were doing like a year ago. I couldn't stay there.
I love that. All right. Last but not least, ATM, right? ATM machine, you put your card in, you're asking for some money back. Here inside the vault, you have dropped a lot of gems. You've saved, our entrepreneurs a lot of money by doing it the right way. But we want one more, right? For us, ATM stands for another teachable moment. I need you to look in that camera, talk to our insiders, and give us one more gem that's going to help our 9-to-5ers who are transitioning, our small business owners, our entrepreneurs. Give us one more gem, another teachable moment.
Another teachable moment. Let me see. I would say another teachable moment is when you, especially if you're starting out in business, when you understand where you want to go and you understand your why will not stop you. And also think about when you are growing your team, constantly think about who you want to be in the position. So that way you're not constantly backpedaling and hiring the wrong people. Think about what you want them to do and where you want to go in your business. So the vision is important. And then what you want the roles to be, I would say, would be a good, some good gems or lessons too.
All right, y'all. Lakeisha Robichaux, she dropped a lot of big gems. You have to start getting your people in place. Make sure you join her for her 5-day challenge, InsideYourHR.com. Tell people again, like what they're going to get in the 5 days.
Yeah, so in the 5-day challenge, you're going to get policies and procedures. You're going to get employee handbook. You're going to understand employees versus contractor, what you need to know, how to hire them, the paperwork that you need for that. If you need to terminate an employee, you're going to get that information as well. The exact onboarding documents that you need to properly onboard an employee so that way you can remove or reduce the liabilities inside of your business. The last thing that you want is a lawsuit. The last thing that you want is your business to shut down because an employee is suing you over something that you said, something that you did, or something that you didn't do. So it's going to help remove all of your HR words and make sure that you're on the right track inside of your business.
All right, y'all heard it. Make sure y'all tap in. Lakeisha, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If somebody wanted to follow you, they wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
Absolutely. Lakeisha Robichaux. So I'm on Instagram. I'm at Lakeisha Robichaux. On Facebook, Lakeisha Robichaux, the number 7. On Twitter, L_Robichaux. On LinkedIn, at Lakeisha Robichaux. And definitely check out my website, www.lakeisharobichaux.com.
All right, y'all, another powerful episode of Inside the Vault. We are closing out the vault. Make sure you visit us, InsideTheVaultShow.com. I want you to like, subscribe, review, rate the podcast, make it the #1 podcast, financial literacy. As a matter of fact, just make it the #1 podcast on the planet. Make sure you do it right now. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. And I'm going to see you next time. At the same time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.
Oh yeah. You want Ash Cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.